while I blow about the U.S. Navy. Take our newest battle wagons. The great Iowa class. Everything's tremendous. Even the anchors. Each hook weighs as much as a tank. How safe are they from air attack? Compared to any battleship of 3 years ago, these new babies throw up an umbrella more than 100 times the size. The Iowa whips up enough juice to furnish a city of 20,000 with all its power and light. And speaking of lighting up cities, these ships are built to do a little lighting job on the cities of Japan. One ship tosses shells at the rate of 1,200 tons per hour, a payload equal to the bomb load of 300 flying forts. So, do you mind if I blow? Hell no. Let's all blow.
The mighty new battleship Iowa has now joined the United States Navy in active duty. In pictures just released, made during the 45,000-ton warship's testing cruise, the Iowa's commander, Captain McCrae, orders her 9 16-inch guns to fire a mighty salvo. Anti-aircraft batteries open up, a powerful contribution to the United Nations navies.
One year after entering the war, United States gains in naval tonnage shatter all records. Queen of them all, the giant new USS New Jersey, mightiest battleship ever built. 5 stories high, she's the fastest afloat. Armament and guns, naval secrets. The New Jersey will soon be in action with the fleet. The mighty Missouri, largest and most powerful battleship in the world, is ready for launching. Her sponsor, daughter of the senator from Missouri, sends the traditional bottle of wine crashing against the ship's bow. Fastest and most modern warship afloat, the 45,000-ton Missouri goes down the ways months ahead of schedule. Her secondary batteries already installed. More than just another fighting ship, the Missouri is symbolic of the ever-growing strength of the United States Navy.
With the repulse of the second casino offensive, it became clear. Anzio was on its own. The crisis was here. Every resource was marshaled to meet it. When the massive frontal attacks came, we met them with a hurricane of fire. Heavy and well-directed naval gunfire played an important part in holding back the enemy tide. The Anzio front was so close to the sea that naval guns became infantry support weapons.
Battleship Missouri, 5th 53,000-ton flagship of Admiral Halsey's Third Fleet becomes the scene of an unforgettable ceremony marking the complete and formal surrender of Japan. In the Bay of Tokyo itself, the United States destroyer Buchanan comes alongside, bringing representatives of the Allied powers to witness the final capitulation. General of the Army Douglas MacArthur, Supreme Allied Commander for the occupation of Japan, boards the Missouri. Fleet Admiral Nimitz, Pacific Fleet Commander, and Admiral Halsey welcome MacArthur and his Chief of Staff, General Sutherland, aboard. Admiral Nimitz escorts General MacArthur to the Missouri's veranda deck, where the 20-minute ceremony is to take place. It is Sunday, September 2nd, 1945. Cameramen and reporters of many countries record this historic moment as United Nations military leaders crowd aboard the Missouri and examine souvenir cards bearing the Japanese flag, special mementos of the occasion. And now, in a Navy launch, the Japanese surrender party arrives. They are headed by aged Mamoru Shigemitsu, Foreign Minister of the Japanese Surrender Cabinet, who was wounded by a Korean patriot in Shanghai years ago and walks on an artificial leg. The Japanese delegation lines up on the opposite side of the surrender table from the Allies. A war which had entered its 8th terrible year in China, which had raged for 3 years and 9 months for America and Britain, which was the brutal, costly eastern half of the most horrible worldwide war in human history, is now within minutes of ending for good. General MacArthur speaks.
We are gathered here, representatives of the major warring powers, to conclude a solemn agreement whereby peace may be restored. The issues involving divergent ideals and ideologies have been determined on the battlefields of the world, and hence are not for our discussion or debate. The terms and conditions upon which surrender of the Japanese imperial forces is here to be given and accepted are contained in the instrument of surrender now before you. As Supreme Commander for the Allied Powers, I announce it my firm purpose, in the tradition of the countries I represent, to proceed in the discharge of my responsibilities with justice and tolerance, while taking all necessary dispositions to ensure that the terms of surrender are fully, promptly, and faithfully complied with. I now invite the representatives of the Emperor of Japan and the Japanese government and the Japanese Imperial General Headquarters to sign the instrument of surrender at the places indicated.
Mr. Shigemitsu comes to the surrender table. These dramatic first pictures were made by newsreel war correspondents and Army and Navy cameramen and were specially flown back from Tokyo. The time is 9:05 a.m. The Japanese have been on board exactly 10 minutes. General Yoshijiro Umetsu of the Imperial General Staff signs for the Japanese Army. The surrender documents, by which Japan agrees to lay down arms completely and to obey all Allied orders issued by General MacArthur, were printed by the Army on rare parchment found in a basement in ravaged Manila. General MacArthur signs as Supreme Allied Commander. The first pen used is presented to General Wainwright of Corregidor. The second pen to British General Percival, commander at the surrender of Singapore. MacArthur uses 6 pens in all, affixing what will be the most important signature in Japan to the document that ends permanently that nation's regime of terror and aggression. For the forces of the United States itself, Admiral Chester Nimitz signs. Behind Nimitz are the Third Fleet's Admiral Halsey and Admiral Sherman, famed amphibious commander. General Su Young Chang, Chief of Military Operations for the Chinese National Council, signs for China. Admiral Sir Bruce Fraser, commander of the British Pacific Fleet for the United Kingdom. Lieutenant General Kumza Nikolaevich Derevyanko for Soviet Russia. General Sir Thomas Blamey for Australia. Colonel Lawrence Moore Cosgrave for Canada. General Jacques Leclerc, hero of Africa and Paris, for France. Admiral C.E.L. Helfrich for the Netherlands. Air Vice Marshal L.M. Issett for New Zealand. Concluding the brief history-making ceremony, General MacArthur expresses a wish.
Let us pray that peace be now restored to the world, and that God will preserve it always. These proceedings are closed.
Swarms of United States aircraft fly in formation overhead as the ceremony ends. The final United Nations victory has been won. The war is over. Peace is here.
These were the armadas that crowded the oceans the enemy called his own. Pulverizing his strong points on beach and cliff, while up above its sister ships were carrying the war to the enemy in over 100 battles and amphibious landings. These the guns that thundered the doom of Japanese ambition, striking ahead of our conquering armies from North Africa and the Solomons. Till that last triumphant rendezvous in the waters of Tokyo Bay. Although they do not move from port, these warcraft are serving just as surely as ships in active service, cruising the high roads of the world's oceans.
The Navy gave its Marines the fastest crossing the Pacific had ever witnessed. And with other countries of the United Nations, our ships headed for the combat zone in Korea to transport and supply our troops, to engage the enemy where he could be found, and to patrol nearby trouble zones. The peace in the Pacific had been shattered. Navy ships offshore, many of them recently out of mothballs, supported the Marine amphibious assaults, softening up the areas ahead of them, upon and beyond the beaches. From General Ridgway came the report that Navy ships and planes were keeping the enemy off balance, disrupting his lines of communication and relieving pressure on the UN front. The Navy was displaying the finest kind of inter-service cooperation. Navy may be, its mission is command of the seas.
And he's hit by sea. The super Dreadnaught Missouri, which has been off Korea since early in the campaign, leads a night to dawn naval bombardment. The mighty Mo's huge 16-inch guns find their mark on the east coast of North Korea.
Seven 700 miles away from the U.S. garrison on Hokkaido, the battleship Wisconsin and the cruiser Manchester go into action in an area where the Cold War has become a shooting war. They're on their way through heavy seas to blast communist supply lines in Korea, to keep the enemy from building up strength during peace talks.